Hello, welcome to the next in our series of clay techniques and processes. This session follows on from Dig for Clay. In Dig for Clay, we covered how to identify clay and got a bit excited about what we found in the garden. We hope you have found something to get excited about too. The clay you have found will be dry, lumpy and full of contaminants. It needs to be refined to become workable. We can use the reclaiming process to do that. All unfired, unwanted and damaged pots and scraps can be reclaimed. Reclaiming clay is part of our daily routine at the studio. Nothing goes to waste. Slurry is captured, trimmings collected and dead pots sacrificed to the slop bucket and reused. Before heading into the slop bucket, clay should be bone dry. It slakes readily. Dry clay is brittle, pots can break easily under compression and they can't be repaired. Bone dry pots can head in two directions, the slop bucket or the kiln for a bisque firing. Reclaiming clay is a circular process. Before firing, it can be reclaimed endlessly. It does get tired and you'll likely notice a loss in plasticity over time. Tired clay is often described as short. It starts to crumble, like shortbread or short crust pastry, not so useful for us. The same process we use in the studio to reclaim our scraps can be followed with found clay. It's been a few days since we left our clay too dry. How long it takes is entirely dependent on atmospheric conditions, temperature, humidity and airflow. Our space was a bit too static, so we've used a conventional oven, no hotter than 100 degrees Celsius, to speed up the process. When fully dry, submerge 80% of your clay in a bucket of water, enough water to cover it fully. Immediately the clay will appear to crumble, also known as slaking. Allow the clay to settle, don't return to it until the water left on top is clear. This will take a few hours. Then add dry clay to de-water the mixture as much as possible, so there's very little clear water left on top. The water contains very fine particles. Topping up keeps as much of the good stuff where we want it. When the clay is fully incorporated into the water, blend it. We use mechanical blungers for large quantities, but a spatula is sufficient. Found clay will have a few contaminants. It will also need sieving before further de-watering on an absorbent material. We lay ours onto plaster bats to efficiently de-water further. Any absorbent material will work. A clean concrete slab or a chunky bit of wood will be okay. A sheet of plastic will also work, it'll just take longer. Monitor your clay and remove it from the bat or plastic when it becomes mouldable. Rough wedge it and form it into a rainbow. This starts to condition the clay, but more still needs to be done. Leave your rainbow to dry a little bit. The clay must remain pliable. A good test of pliability is to roll a coil and wrap it around your finger. It shouldn't be too sticky or crumble. If it's a bit stiff, flatten your clay and wrap it in a damp towel. Wrap tightly in an airtight plastic bag and leave it overnight. You should now have a soft but lumpy mass of clay. It'll need conditioning to make it workable. For that you'll need to learn how to wedge. We have a robust concrete wedging table. Try to find something porous like a concrete step. Wedging mixes and compresses clay into an homogeneous mix. Reclaimed clay usually has hard and soft bits and air pockets. Wedging removes air, excess water and conditions the clay into a consistent mass. It improves the clay's workability. There are three types of wedging: slamming, asymmetrical, also known as spiral or conch shell, and symmetrical, which looks like a ram's head. They're useful for managing different quantities of clay. Observe where to position your hands for the spiral knead and ram's head. Common problems are pushing too hard and not containing spread. The clay should remain compact, no flaps, no flanges. You'll see air being worked out and the clay will begin to feel smoother. Keep doing this until the clay feels and looks consistent. This could be over 150 rotations. At this stage you can leave your clay to rest. Wrap it tightly in an airtight plastic bag to prevent it from drying out. We don't recommend pulverising dried clay. Break it into smaller chunks while damp. Don't let it drop onto the floor. Collect it with a damp cloth and reclaim. Wipe all surfaces with a damp cloth. Never use a sweeping brush or household vacuum cleaner. We use a vac graded for hazardous waste. It's specified for asbestos. Clay particles are very fine. If they get airborne, they'll stay airborne for days. Good housekeeping will prevent that from happening. Look after your lungs. Share your successes and failures on Instagram under the hashtag #DigForClay and we'll reshare them. Next time we'll start making. Stay safe, stay special and stay at home.